we've only talked, I think, once, maybe twice before this, but because of the social media you do, I feel like I know you more. Do you hear
Hmm.
that a lot in your business?
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest things, what I advocate with social media that's so great about it. Most of the people that would reach out to me knew a ton about me and I'd never even met them before. They would call me out of the blue or message me out of the blue and be like, hey, we want you to come list our house.
My next guest is a familiar face on social media. He's been in the top 1% of agents for Century 21 across Canada. He's owned a brokerage, been a top producer, now focuses his time on coaching and helping agents across the globe scale their business with social media. Please welcome to the show, Shawn Bell. Thanks so much for being on the show, Shawn.
Hey, thanks for having me, Shane. Appreciate being here.
You know what? Honestly, that intro could have been a lot longer. You've done quite a bit in the almost nearly 10, well, 2 decades in the business here. So congrats on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. Started when I was 19 years old, which came with its own challenges, but yeah, it's hard to believe that it's been that long already.
Oh, wow. Yeah. 19, that's really cool. There's a lot of people out there that want to get started on real estate, and I find that they hold off on it. What gave you the courage to jump in at kind of an earlier age than a lot of other people?
I started off. I was a computer tech. I worked on computers for a year, and I thought I was going to go to school to become a computer tech. And then once I worked at it for a bit, I realized working in a basement with no windows was not really my jam. So I didn't pursue that any longer. I had worked for a summer for some family members who were in real estate, and I kind of was like, hey, that was kind of fun. Why not try it? And I mean, when you're at 19 years old, it's kind of like, I mean, I feel like some of the pressure was off because it's not like I had a family that I had to support. I was just me on my own. So it was like, what's the worst that can happen? So I dove in, and yeah, obviously it did have its challenges because the biggest thing when you're 19 in real estate is people are like, well, what do you know? Like you're 19 basically. And when I was 19, I looked like I was 12. So people really did not, and I don't blame them. They didn't want to trust me with likely the biggest decision in their life. So it took a lot of patience and a lot of trial and error and time to eventually build up that business.
Okay. Yeah, that's really one of the challenges I thought that might be in there. Now you got to tell me if you get this a lot. I feel you probably do. Like we've only talked, I think, once, maybe twice before this, but because of the social media you do, I feel like I know you more. Do you hear
Hmm.
that a lot in your business?
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest things, what I advocate with social media that's so great about it. Most of the people that would reach out to me knew a ton about me and I'd never even met them before. They would call me out of the blue or message me out of the blue and be like, hey, we want you to come list our house, or we want you to help us find our next home. And maybe it was finding their next home, and I'd go out on a tour with them looking at houses, and they'd be like, oh, well, so how are the boys? And what's your wife doing right now? And like they'd have this conversation. They'd be like, oh, we have two boys too. And I see your kids are in hockey or baseball right now. And how's that going? And yeah, it's kind of weird sometimes, but you get used to it. And I found I really liked it because it was kind of that icebreaker and people knew me. And because they saw what I was about on social media, like-mindedness attracts. So they were more my type of people. And the relationship was so much easier. I didn't have to build up that trust factor. They already trusted me. There was times where I'd go even list a house and I would show up there and I would kind of prep them saying, okay, I'm going to bring the photographer. We need a clean house. We need it empty because, we're going to do our thing. And I would show up. They'd basically toss me the keys and be like, we've seen what you do. We trust you. Go for it. do what you got to do to get attention. We don't care if you have to jump off the roof or whatever you want to do your silly poses. We don't care. And they just, yeah. Whereas years ago, before social media, they'd be following me around and be like, well, what are you doing? And why are you doing this? And just, you can tell there's a huge difference, a trust factor when they've followed me and seen me on social media.
Right. Like people need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And, if those hurdles are already kind of been covered by them seeing you on social media, it does
Yeah. So
definitely cut down on your time having to sell. You
social
focus
media is
more
kind of
on.
like it pre-vetted my customers for me. The people I had coming in were the highest quality leads I have ever had in my life. And it made my job that much more fun because I had a common interest with the people that were coming through to me. I think as realtors, we feel like we got to be the jack of all trades and we have to do it all and we have to appeal to the masses because we can get the most business possible. I used to be the same way. And then once I kind of shifted my mindset and found, hey, if I kind of, focus on this group and be myself, it actually attracted higher quality leads to into my business. And I wasn't having to deal with the people that maybe I didn't see eye to eye with. And it was a struggle to get through that deal. It was like every deal, it was like I was doing one with somebody I'd known for a long time and it was a friend of mine. And it was so much easier.
Well, that probably helps with, we talk about a work life balance, right? If you don't have a bunch of wasted time and wasted energy on people that you're never going to do business with, it does free you up to focus on the things you like doing. And it probably helps with your family life as well, because, I remember trying to be everything to everyone and you're running around and you're just burnt out by the time you get home. It could be a struggle. So have you found that it helps you get a little bit more work-life balance as well?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Cause it helped with that because people they knew the process. They knew, Shawn's going to take care of it. This is what he's going to do. And, there was everything with me was electronic. So I wasn't spending extra time having to race to the office. Like when I was first started being a realtor where you had to go get paperwork signed and you had to, go to their work to get something signed, or you had to meet at 9 o'clock at night. Just everything's electronic now. Technology is amazing. A lot of people, get mad at technology and technology is ruining our lives. But if you embrace it and use it for the better, it's just, there's tons of potential. It saves you so much time, so much money when you really utilize it, and the customers love it too. And yeah, it's just, to me, I don't know why more aren't jumping on some of these tools that are available to them.
Yeah, no one. Well, I think some that aren't are probably struggling, right? And that's one question I had here is you've been in the industry for 18 years and you've seen some very different markets. There's a lot of agents that have been in the business only for a few years and have seen nothing but a very hot seller's market.
Right.
What do you have advice for someone that's only ever seen where it's just everything's selling right away and now the market's shifting? What advice do you have for them that they should be focusing on in this time?
Start being prepared and building your brand. All of us realtors are guilty of it. We get comfortable with what we're doing and thinking, okay, well, this is, going great. I don't need to change. I'm selling so many houses a year. Life is great. But as time's shown over the years, eventually things change. Real estate has its up and downs. There's always going to be, we always hope that obviously the ups are going to outweigh the downs, but there is going to be those downtimes. Right now, it can be easy with the way things are going, depending which way you look at it. Because sometimes even you could be in a hot seller's market, and sometimes you still could struggle because you're like, well, I have nothing to sell the buyers that I have, and I can't get any listings, and that can seem like a struggle too. So no matter what side you're on, if you're doing really good or you need something to boost your business, just the biggest one for me was social media, building my brand on social media, getting people to know me. And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. I mean, there's the odd one off where somebody, maybe gets a bunch of followers right away and builds traction. But for most, I'd say 90%, 95%, it takes a lot of time and effort. So don't be thinking you can go into this and you're all of a sudden you're going to be flooded with business when you are posting on social media for the next month. It's going to take more time than that. Don't give up. Be consistent with it. It's like anything where you got to put in the time. If you're big into door knocking and cold calling, well, you got to be consistent with it. And you got to practice and eventually get better at it. That wasn't my strength, so I focused on the social media part of it. And everybody, some see my social media or saw my social media and they think, well, he's so lucky because he's got an audience built and it's easy for him. But I had to start at ground zero too. I had to build that audience. I had to put in many, many years of trial and error of figuring it out and getting that audience built up. And then once I did, I'm very glad that I did put that time in. So I guess long story short, I kind of rambled on there. If they're looking, kind of to set themselves up for the downtime, is start learning how to do some of this stuff in your extra time. Because if you can do it now and then things do turn and you've got a bit built and you know what you're doing, you're going to be far further ahead than the realtors that have just been sitting there. And all of a sudden when things turn, they're like, holy crap, I wasn't expecting that. Now what do I do? Now I got to try to figure out something. And they might try to take shortcuts and make mistakes along the way. Whereas if you've kind of learned ahead of time, you're going to be that much further ahead.
Yeah, I find I avoid the news for two reasons. One, if it says the market's going to be great, people tend to, I don't have to work that hard. It's going to be awesome. Or if they read it's bad, they're like, oh, why bother trying? What I do is not going to make a difference, right? Like it's something that you need to when it is a down market or things are shifting, that's such a good time to double down and expand, because there's so many people that sit by and idle. And one of the things I always like to ask people, because I've done some terribly ineffective things in real estate. Is there anything you ever tried in your business that had terrible results that you would say, please stay away from? Don't try this. Is there anything that that didn't work for you?
I'm going to speak for myself, but I'm not going to say don't try this, because I know it works for a ton of realtors. But for me, the thing that tried and did not work, and again, maybe it's because I didn't try it enough, was the door knocking and cold calling. It just was not my style. And I guess I just realized it wasn't my comfort zone. So I felt like it was really out of my comfort zone. Yes, maybe if I practiced, I probably would have got better, but I saw social media as something more I enjoyed. So I feel if there's something you feel like you have to do and it's just cringeworthy and you don't enjoy doing it, you're likely never going to really get to be an expert at it. Whereas if there's something that actually speaks to you and you love to do, you're going to spend more time figuring it out and, seeing it from every angle and get to be a lot better at it. Therefore, when I advocate for social media, I always do warn people that it's not for everybody, because for some, it just may be the most frightening thing in the world and they don't care for it. And that's fine. Maybe they're more the type where they do enjoy door knocking or cold calling or doing other things that generate them business. This was just one that really spoke to me and I enjoyed. And yeah, I would say try everything though, because that will help you to figure out what you do enjoy, what you maybe don't enjoy, and continue to focus on the things that you actually do enjoy. You're going to get far more return on those things than the ones that seem like work.
So you said you were drawn to social media. There's a lot of people that have a fear and that holds them back. Did you have any fear or worry when you first started doing all the posting? And if so, how did you get over that?
My biggest fear was video. And it surprises a lot of people when I say that to this day, because now I love video. If I get to do a video project and be in front of the camera, I love it. It's fun to me. But years ago, when I had to do a video, it was a task. My heart would race. I would, get like, I would shake, and I would kind of have it in my head. Okay, I'm going to say this. This is what the video is going to be about. I would sit in my office and I'd hit the record button, and I would go blank, and I would stop, and I like couldn't talk. And I was like, okay, try again, do it again. And then I might do it. And when I did do a video, I was talking like a robot. Like, I just completely, my personality changed, my voice changed, everything changed. So I would, instead of sending a text message to my wife saying, hey, maybe I'm headed home for supper now, I might send it as a video instead and try to practice that way. And she would critique me and say, well, that's not you. You don't sound like you're talking to me. You sound like a robot. And so I slowly practiced, did more, because I knew it was something I'm going to need to do if I knew video was becoming really more popular. And then what really took it off for me was Instagram. When I got on Instagram and started doing stories, I practiced with stories. So at first I practiced with the camera not on me. I do a video clip, and then I would graduate to where I would talk in it. And then as I got comfortable with that, eventually I'd flip the camera over, I'd have me in it, and then I would graduate to the point where I would be talking in it too. Do a couple stories every day. And that took me to the top for being comfortable with video. I'm still not great on video, but it took me up there for being comfortable on it way faster, just because it was that repetitiveness, and it was practice all the time. And yeah, now I enjoy it. So it was, for those that are afraid of video, I'm with you. I hear you. It's probably one of the hardest ones to get used to.
So you inspire agents all over the globe to take action, myself included. I went through with one of your programs there. It's very inspiring. Where do you find your drive to go and help others?
I found I really enjoyed, like, I was a realtor for 18 years. I made a big decision this year to switch it up and go full-time coaching, helping other realtors. I still do have my license, but I'm not actively trading in real estate. I have somebody who's taken over my business. So I guess it was just a passion. It was, I did real estate for a while, and I enjoyed it. And then kind of once I started on the coaching route, I was like, well, it's kind of something new, and it's something I really enjoy. And once I I created a reel on it today, where, when I get another realtor saying, hey, I did this, or they watch a YouTube video of mine saying I did this and it worked and I got a customer, or whatever it may be, or I'm more comfortable on camera because of the tips you gave me. It's just, for me, it's hard to explain. I really love the part where you can find the person that perfect home, or you get them the sale price they wanted. And now this is just kind of that new high of helping somebody and seeing them get results. It's just a really cool feeling. So I guess that's what drives me, is every time I know if I'm putting some good content out there and it's actually helping somebody, it motivates me to want to do it even more.
That's really cool. It's like, by helping others, it's producing kind of that great feeling for you as well, which it's a nice circle to have.
Hopefully giving them a great feeling that it's worked, that hopefully not what everything I'm saying is just BS. And then the other part is, it makes me feel great too, because it's, you actually want to see people succeed when you're trying to help them, and knowing it actually works is quite amazing.
So, if you could reach out and tell people that are, if they're sitting by and they're struggling a little bit and they're like, where do I get started? What would be the one thing you would say to an agent to say, this is what you need to do today to get started?
Yeah, again, I wouldn't pick one thing, just because, like I said before, I feel like everything speaks to different realtors. If somebody's a lot like me, I would say, hey, jump on social media, get to know the inside and outs of it, start practicing with it, become a master at it. I would definitely focus on that. Where But I don't want to say that because there might be some realtors that it doesn't speak to them and they might be best to go to a different route. So as a new realtor, what I would suggest though is try everything. Get to see what you like, what you don't like. When you find what you do like, focus on it and use that as your strength. Become the master at that. And whatever you pick, I don't care whether it's social media, if you're door knocking, if you're delivering flyers, if you're hosting events, doing open houses, whatever speaks to you the most, be consistent with it. Far too many, that's where I find realtors fall short, is they start something, they give it a little bit, and they go, I'm not getting anything out of this. This isn't working. And they just quit. Then they move on to the next thing. They try it for a bit because they're like, oh, I saw so-and-so. They're really successful. And this is what they do. They do it for maybe a few weeks or a month, and they'll be like, well, that didn't work for me. So then I move on to the next thing. And it's just a lot of time lost and frustration. You need to put in the time, you need to put in the energy, be consistent with it. And eventually, no matter what you do, it will work. You just need to put in that time. I remember when I first started real estate, one of the very first advice I had from somebody was, because I was 19 again, fresh out of school, so I didn't have savings. The very first thing they said to me was, tell your parents to have their checkbook ready, because you're going to have a good year or two where you're not going to make any money and you're having to grow your business. So that would be kind of I still hold that true to this day, because if somebody's coming into this business and like, I'm going to succeed right away, and I've got $5 in my bank account. Well, it's kind of tough to make some smart decisions when you've only got that in your account and you're trying to get quick wins. It's usually not going to work.
You do coaching, and we'll make sure we have your coaching information down in the description below here. Would you say that's a good thing as a new agent to get into, is finding a mentor or coach to get started right out of the gates?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, find somebody that speaks to you. Don't be just like, okay, well, the 10 agents in my office, they all work with this person, so I'm going to go hire them, where maybe they have a different style than you. So find who speaks to you the most, kind of find the path that works the best. And yeah, I definitely recommend it, because I mean, I learned a lot of this stuff. I'm not the best example, because I learned a lot of this stuff on my own. I never did have a coach when I was in real estate, but I definitely see the massive value in it for a lot of realtors, because I feel like I had a bit of that self-drive, whereas and I could have been better, but some of us need that person to be like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. And now, as I got later in my career, I took a bunch of courses because I realized the value in the education and doing more. And I don't know everything. So the more I can learn, the more I can help my customers and do better. So looking back, that would maybe be something I would change, is if I could have that, call it coach or whatever, to give some other ideas. But the good thing is I was coming into a brokerage. I mean, we're a smaller city, so everybody knew everyone. I had a lot of mentors within the company, and that's, I think, where I had success as well, because I could go out with them and I could go to listing presentations and I could learn through them, and they were a vast wealth of knowledge. So if you don't have the money to hire somebody, at the very least, I would recommend you find a seasoned realtor in your office and be like, hey, can I help you out? Like, for free. If you need some extra paperwork done, or if you need me to do some showings for you, that's the best way you're going to learn, is by doing. It's not what you learned in the schooling, because usually I found that's kind of tells you how to stay out of jail. Once you pass your course, you kind of got to forget all that. And then it's on to the real world. So if you can learn that from somebody else and get that experience, is going to help a lot. And if they like what you're doing for them, eventually down the road, it's going to also generate you business, because they're going to be like, hey, by the way, I booked a holiday for the end of June. I'm going to be gone for a week. Do you want to look after my customers? I'll pay you a referral. You can help me out. And that's another way to build your business as well.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Yeah, because you come in, yeah. I love how you talked about, staying out of realtor jail there, because a lot of people that are new come in the business, and if you don't have, uh, haven't been in the industry, I mean, there's so many things to learn. It is great having, whether it's a coach or mentor, someone to learn from, and someone that it fits with. I like how you said, like, you can interview people in a way, right? Like, find a good fit for you, because at the end of the day, like, you want this to be a fun career, right? Like, there's definite positives, there's negatives, but you can make it how you want it to be, based on having the knowledge and building a business that you love. And that's really cool that you've been able to step away from the production side of things and focus on coaching. Have you found that now that you're focusing on that you're starting to attract a lot of that to yourself, now that you've dived in, gone in 100%?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because now obviously with my social media, I'm talking about it more, and I'm focused more on it. So that what I built my Instagram channel to, now I have mostly realtors following me and asking for advice. Same with my YouTube channel. All my views, because YouTube's great for searchability. That's where everybody goes to search if they've got a question. Your YouTube video comes up, so I get a lot of business from my YouTube channel as well. So yeah, it's whatever you focus on and you kind of make your niche and you go hard at it, you'll attract the people that need you, whether that be mine's in coaching, that could be yours in real estate. If you're just the, downtown condo specialist, whatever it is, you're going to attract the people that are looking for that service.
Well, I'll say, I'll give you a shout out. Like, what I felt worked for me, and don't take it the wrong way, but when I saw it, I was like, this is something I could do. Right. And that's what attracted to me to it. Because sometimes I've seen things on social media and I was just like, I don't know. But I saw what you were teaching and I was like, this is something I could actually implement and put in the business. And I hope you take that the right way, because it just felt like it was something
Yeah.
that I could actually do. And I wasn't scared of doing. And I was like, yes, this is something I want to do. And you broke it down in a way that was like, okay, I can fit this in with what I'm doing. And I felt like it's going to work because I've seen that it works from you. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was definitely, I want to make sure everyone will have your info in here. We want people to check it out. But that's what I found great about it, is it wasn't this overwhelming program that I felt like I had to go hire. You make fun of it when you hire people to run your stuff for you and, auto posting stuff for you. Like, it's not genuine, and
Yeah.
it's not going to work. Right. And the stuff that you teach people how to do, it's being true to yourself, because you get to work with people that are like you, that like you already. Right. Versus if you go on there and you're putting out info that is not you, you're going to attract people that are not like you actually are. And I think you're going to struggle with dealing with clients that just aren't a good fit. But if you're putting out your genuine self, like if you've got kids and you're involved in their sports and different things like that, like, that's great to put out there, because you're probably going to attract other people that understand, what it's like to have children and have that. And part of the buying experience, could be, needing to make sure there's snacks for kids, or else the showings are, we can only see 3 houses, because anything
Yeah.
past 3 houses, this kid's going to have a meltdown. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just the more, that's what I love about social media is like-mindedness attracts. And, yeah, further to your point before, thank you for that. But I appreciate the feedback. It's social media doesn't have to be hard. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not going to start because I need a fancy camera and I need this and I need that. Like, if anybody watches my social media, 90% of it is shot just with my iPhone, and that's it. And anybody can create this stuff. And that's the beauty of it, is you don't need to hire a production team. It's more about the message. It's not about the the quality. So I always tell everybody with their YouTube videos, I would way rather have a crappy quality video with amazing content with good information than I would vice versa, having that high produced video that has just fluff in it. the one with the great information is going to outperform the other one any day of the week. So don't get caught up saying, I'm not going to start today because I don't have nice enough camera, or I don't have a gimbal, or I don't have a drone. You don't need any of that. Start with your phone, and you can build your business just off of that. And we are so lucky today that we have that. Like when I started in real estate, I think I still had my flip phone, and then I was probably the first one in my office to get a BlackBerry, and it was like the coolest thing ever. But I still couldn't do video on it. Like the things we can do with the phones we have today is just mind blowing, and the quality of it compared to having a fancy camera 15 years ago, that phone is way better than any camera that was ever out there. So it's, yeah, we've got so much potential and so much right in your hand that you can just get started.
That's really good. I love that advice about just get started. Don't wait for perfection, because 2 years from now, like, you might suck for a bit. And
Mm-hmm.
there are, I know I definitely did. Like, you might suck for a bit, but 2 years from now, you'll be crushing it. That's way better than waiting for 2 years and then trying to start, and now you're so far behind. Like, you just get the practice in now. So, like, that's such great advice. And I really appreciate you being on the show, Shawn. I wish you the best with your coaching. We'll make sure that we've got that in the description for everyone. And check out your YouTube channel as well, because I know there's amazing content. I follow you. I'm learning a lot, and I know a lot of agents are going to benefit from that. So we'll make sure to have that all in there. And thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, and thanks for having me. If anybody's interested, please reach out, but definitely go check out Instagram and YouTube. You'll find I'm an open book. So I mean, if you want to be a part of the course, that's great. If you just want to learn Facebook or learn through YouTube and Instagram, please go do that. I'm not going to hold anything back. I love to share information, and if anybody's struggling, they need help, reach out, and I can always offer any advice.
Awesome. Again, thanks for your time. We'll hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks, Shane. Take care.